Mel, you're on.
Hello there, everybody. This is Mel Allen. Coming up on This Week in Baseball, checking in with two top draft picks of the recent past, making their way up the ranks. In Houston, victory at long last.
Davis coming to the Astro dugout. He caught it for the third out, hurtling over the fence. How do you like that?
And in Baltimore, the new Breakfast of Champions has brought the Orioles surprising clout. Fruit Loops and future stars coming up next on This Week in Baseball. Now, what every high school and college prospect had been waiting for, the annual Major League Draft.
First pick in the first round for Baltimore is Ben McDonald. McDonald, a right-hand pitcher from Louisiana State University.
The 6'7" Ben McDonald was no surprise as the nation's top pick. In high school, he was all-state in 3 sports. At LSU, he continued to dazzle. This year, a record 44 2/3 scoreless innings. How about that?
Ben's the most talented pitcher that I've ever coached. He throws, 4 or even 5 pitches into the strike zone, and naturally you can get him up to 95 with fastball. He's a good competitor. Most of all, he's a mature kid. He's a wonderful young man who represents this university very well.
After giving up basketball to concentrate on baseball, McDonald became an All-American. And at last summer's Olympics, led the USA to a gold medal. Already a lifetime of success. And yet at 21, his career is just getting started.
I don't really know much about the Orioles, but from what I hear, from people, that it's a great organization and it's a good team. It's a team that's on the up. From what I hear, it's a great place to be. It's a good city to play for, and I think if I got a chance to play for them, it'd be great.
2 years ago, Ken Griffey Jr. was the #1 pick when he was drafted by the Seattle Mariners. Since then, he's raced up the ranks, going from high school to rookie league to single A and on to double A. Then this spring with the Mariners, Griffey was so impressive they couldn't keep him down on the farm anymore. He had the most hits, most RBIs, and most runs of any Mariner. The sudden success could have overwhelmed the 19-year-old, but with a father in the majors, none of it seems so new or so daunting.
I think that the fact that he's been exposed to baseball at an early age with his father, grew up with it more or less. A cute story in spring training where he said, is this the second year, it's for spring training for you? And he goes, no, this is my 12th. He says 2 with the Mariners and 10 with my dad.
Though Griffey had an outstanding spring, he didn't know for sure that he'd be going to Seattle in April.
I called him in my office and I said, Griff, this is going to be one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make in my life.
And right then and there, I thought I was going to AAA. He goes, no, you made the team. And my heart started pounding again. After a while, I started beating. So after that, he said, just go out and relax. You made the team. Go have fun.
And what a time he's had. Hitting near 300 with 10 homers, Griffey's been all the rage in Seattle, where he's even got a candy bar named after him. And nothing unsensational about his glove either, which has been just as exciting as his bat. All this may have lifted Griffey to celebrity status, but he's not buying it.
I'm a normal 19-year-old kid having fun.
The same year that Griffey was drafted #1, Willie Banks got his call from the Minnesota Twins as the #3 pick. A star at St. Anthony's High School in Jersey City, New Jersey, Banks jumped right into the pros. But in the 3 seasons since then, he hasn't made it past single A ball. Last year with the Kenosha Twins, he went 10-10, and then had a frustrating start this year in the more competitive California State League, all of which has made the 20-year-old Banks more realistic.
When I first got drafted, everybody was like, well, when you think you'll be in 2 years, when you think you'll be in 1 year, you know? And I was just, you know, like, I hope I'll be in the big leagues within that time, but, you know, when you get out here, it's a whole different situation, and you just got to take it one step at a time instead of projecting myself in 2-3 years. I just got to take it one step at a time, and hopefully if I keep pitching like I am, I'll be there before I know it.
Banks has suddenly come on strong, and in a brilliant stretch, he's thrown 3 consecutive shutouts, including a no-hitter.
As far as his arm strength comparative to all the pitchers in our league, it's hands down. There's nobody even close. We chart all the other pitchers as far as their radar velocity, and Willie has, on an average, 40 pitches over 90 miles an hour every time he pitches. In this league, there's nobody even close, and there's probably a half a dozen guys in the major leagues that are like that.
Banks may have a fastball worthy of the majors, but as he's come to find out, that's not all there is to pitching.
When the season started, it just seemed like he tried to overthrow, which is basically the majority of his problem. He throws the ball 94 miles an hour. He wants to throw it 100, which I guess if you have that kind of arm, that's natural. And once he learns to stay within himself, which is more than good enough, he'll see a lot of success.
Though Banks hasn't mastered the fine art of pitching yet, he's got everything else to make him a winner.
Fantastic attitude. He's a great kid. He's a hard worker. He wants to improve. He's confident. He might appear sometimes as cocky, but it's a good cocky.
Cockiness, you know, just like, you know, I don't care. I'm the third person to hit it. I don't care. I'm just go right at him. You know, it's that killer instinct with the cockiness.
If Banks once thought it'd be a cinch to get to the majors, he's now revised his thinking.
I knew I wasn't going to just get up there like that. I'm just taking it one step at a time, and I know how it is being down, so I just got to get up to the top now.
Now, this week's quiz, brought to you by today's Chevy Truck. You know, the only #1 draft pick to go straight from college to the major leagues was Bob Horner. Do you know what #1 pick came right from high school? Right now, the fun times are here for the Baltimore Orioles, who've been in first place longer so far this season than in all of the last 5 years. Jeff Ballard deserves much credit for that resurgence. With more finesse in his repertoire, he won 9 of his first 10 games.
I'm mostly a finesse pitcher. I move the ball around the strike zone a bit, try to keep it down and get as many ground balls as I can. I don't have any one pitch that's overpowering or that's that I think any hitter would say is just, you know, a hard one to hit. But if I keep the ball in good parts of the strike zone, it's tough to get good wood on it. And I think that's one thing that's been a key to my success this year is I've been ahead of hitters. I've been making them hit my pitch. And the balls that they're hitting just in general aren't hit as hard, even the outs, as they have been the last couple of years.
While the rest of the East has fallen from grace, the Orioles are the only team in the pack to have escaped last place. Man, what a difference a year of experience has made.
We really felt that we would be a lot more competitive in this division than everybody thought. We knew we were going to have a real good defense. We have a lot of team speed, and we knew that our pitching was going to be pretty tough this year. The only question mark people wanted is if we would hit. And early in the year we struggled a little bit hitting, but you know, hitting comes in waves, and right now we're hitting. And when you're hitting and you're pitching well and playing good defense, you're going to win a lot of games, and that's the way it's working out right now.
Hit high and deep to right field. Brookins racing back, and it is gone! A grand slam home run for Steve Finley blows this game wide open.
Mickey Tettleton has a newfound knack for power, and he used some of that to help beat the Yankees 16-3.
The Fruit Loops kid strikes again. That's his 14th home run of the season.
Seems the Baltimore Birds have gotten home run power from Toucan Sam's Fruit Loops, the breakfast of these champions.
Hits it high and deep to right field. Way back.
Jackson hits a 3-run homer to give the Orioles an 8-5 lead. He got a fat pitch.
Fruit Loops, Fruit Loops. The more you eat, the better you feel. Let's eat them for every meal.
Meanwhile, up in Boston, the Red Sox needed shelter from a steady diet of Blue Jay hits, especially from new Blue Jay, Junior Felix.
Well to center field. Burks on the run. Back to the triangle. Still running. And he can't make the play. It's off the door out there. And it might well clear all the bases. Felix steaming around toward the plate. And he scores! Junior Felix with an inside-the-park home run.
An inside-the-park grand slam. In 2 games, the Blue Jays rocked Fenway for 17 runs. But in Game 3, the Sox figured it was time for them to let loose.
Smashed to the left with a score, 1 run. One hop by Bell. And it's 2-0. Oh, my. Up. And gone. A 3-run shot by Burks. 5-0 Boston.
And after 6 innings, the Sox led 10-0. But Toronto stormed back. And in the 9th inning, they were down by 3 when Ernie Whitt stepped up to the plate, bases loaded.
Whoa! Cheers! It's there, it's there, it's there. It is some gone grand slam. With the Blue Jays have turned this game upside down.
They'd scored 11 runs in 3 innings to take the lead. And then in the last of the 9th, the Red Sox tied it up. But 3 innings later, another jolt from Junior Felix. A home run to win it, and a 3-day total of 11 RBIs. As for the sweeping Blue Jays, 12 straight wins at Fenway, and then back home to their celebrated new dome.
Howdy, this is Kelly Groover of the Toronto Blue Jays. I'd like to welcome all of you from This Week in Baseball to this fabulous made place here that we call home. One more time, Cito, please.
Last time.
Okay.
Got it? Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Our great home. That's what it's all about. Right
Ready for the opening of the sky.
Let's see what kind of cards Fred's got today. Freddie's got really bad cards. Oh, man.
Over, man. Get that camera out of here, man.
George,
what are you doing?
George doesn't like cameras, I guess.
You guys know I don't like no camera.
So this thing is supposed to circle around. I think circle all around and goes underneath here behind his line. Esa vaina está chulo, eh? Hola. These are now where else can you find some nice showers like this? I mean, come on. Temperature gauge right there. Heats up to whatever you want it. Just watch how fast this puppy climbs up here. Oh, I forgot. No hot water for the first 2 months. Can be cold in Toronto.
Get your opening day Skydome program.
Wait, let me check see if Freddie's in here. Hey, Mac? No. Oh, Mac's not in there. No.
I wonder where he is.
Candy wrappers or anything like that.
Thanks anyway for the tour, Kelly Gruber. And it's time now to start the proceedings, which were a far cry from opening day in 1977 when the brand new Blue Jays played their first game at Exhibition Stadium. That day, despite snow flurries and near-freezing temperatures, more than 44,000 turned out for the inaugural. The first pitch then was a strike, and the very first pitch at the Skydome, also a strike. With the ball put away for posterity, Blue Jay fans set their minds to bigger things. Fred McGriff obliged, and with this clout, smacked the first home run at the Skydome. But after that, the drama on the field couldn't compete with the dramatic views all around. The Blue Jays lost their lead as the Brewers won the ball game 5-3. And thus all 5 teams that play indoors have lost in their dome debut. Now, the answer to this week's quiz brought to you by today's Chevy truck. The only #1 draft pick to go right from high school to the majors was David Clyde. He was the top pick in the draft of 1973. Houston fans had no idea what lay in store when they went to the Astrodome for a Saturday night game against the Dodgers. Rafael Ramirez stroked a tie-scoring single in the 6th inning, and everything seemed perfectly normal. But from then on, things got more than a little spacey. No matter what they tried, neither team could make any headway. And for the next 15 innings, the score stayed 4-4. On and on it went. A long night's journey into day.
Fastball popped in the air, foul. Davis coming to the Astro dugout. He caught it for the 3rd out, hurtling over the fence. How do you like that? Ball 3, and Griffin broke. They got him in a rundown. Trevino telling the pitcher to cover, and faking now gives the ball to Ramirez, who's going to hold it too long, and Griffin is safely back at first.
In this game, coming home was turning out to be next to impossible.
Swung on, fly ball to center, not very deep. Shelby for the catch. Here comes Reynolds. Here comes the throw. He is out at the plate.
Enough said and enough seen. Still, the night was young. It's morning now.
Fly ball in the shallow left. Chris Gwynn coming up. This might be close. Poole tags. Chris for the catch. Here comes Poole. Here comes the throw. Here's Socha blocking the plate. He is out again.
And the later it got, the fewer players both sides had left to play. The Dodgers called on just about everyone. Oral Hershiser pitched 7 innings of shutout relief ball, but he didn't do much hitting. John Shelby came up empty so many times, his average dropped a full 10 points.
Boy, that is some tough game. John Shelby goes 0 for 10.
And as the game staggered past the 7-hour mark, L.A. brought in Fernando Valenzuela. But to play first base...
And that's popped up to Fernando. Ain't we got fun? It was easy.
Yeah, man. Jeff Hamilton came in the 21st inning, 3rd baseman, but as a pitcher.
Got him looking. Strike 3 call. Caminiti breaks the bat over his leg in frustration.
I was surprised at how hard he threw the ball. We clocked him at 90 miles an hour. I was saying, geez, oh man, he's throwing harder than their starters. But he basically only had the fastball. He threw 1 or 2 breaking balls, but he spotted the ball well. It was like he had been out on the hill before, and we finally got to him the 2nd inning.
That's the 22nd inning, folks, near 3 a.m., when with 2 on and 2 out, Rafael Ramirez up again.
Line drive off Fernando's glove, picked up by Mike Davis. Here comes Doran, and he scores, and it is history.
And it took 7 hours and 14 minutes, but the Astros had their 9th straight win. The Dodgers may have been dead tired 12 hours later when it was time to play ball again. But the lack of sleep didn't bother Mike Scioscia much. He hit a 1st inning grand slam, and L.A. soon went up 6-0. But just when the lead seemed safe, the Astros let loose in the 5th inning when up came Louis Meadows. Louis Meadows.
There's a drive, way back into right field, a grand slam. Holy Toledo, Louis Meadows has knocked one out of here. Whoa, it's a brand new ball game.
That put the Astros within 1 run, but they were still trailing in the bottom of the 9th when up came, with 2 out, Craig Biggio. Craig Biggio.
Left field, and it's gonna go home run. Biggio has tied it.
Incredibly enough, extra innings again. And again, more strange occurrences. Here's one, a 12th inning game-saving play by utility infielder Craig Reynolds, who was out in left field.
Line drive, here comes the left fielder, and reaching down, what a play. Craig Reynolds throw to the plate, and oh, what a play!
the 13th inning, with the bases loaded, my friend Willie Randolph was equally clutch.
Ground ball, and Randolph goes to the plate. Unbelievable play by Willie Randolph.
I can't believe this baseball game.
I can't either. But do you want more? How about Mike Scott driving in the winning run moments later?
He hits one to center field. Gonzalez with a runner tagging. And here comes Ramirez, and he is safe. Ramirez scores, and the Astros win it.
And sweep the Dodgers for their 10th in a row. Now, our Player of the Week, brought to you by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. You know, there's no hiding from Kevin Mitchell's clout. Leading the Giants back to the top of the National League West, Mitchell hit 8 homers in 6 games, raising his Major League leading totals to 22 homers and 61 RBIs. With those figures, he's looking a heap like one Sultan of SWAT. Next week, fans, we'll head up to Cooperstown, New York for pomp and pageantry as the Hall of Fame's museum celebrates its 50th anniversary. That's all for now, folks. See you next week on This Week in Baseball.